Morning, everybody. Kat here, Vegas Fruity. It is Saturday morning, and you know what I wanted to talk about? I was watching another one of my favorite YouTubers, and she was talking about some different things, and one of those subjects was artificial sweeteners. And so I love Shenanigans. She's amazing. I love the topic she talks about. She gets me thinking about subjects for my own videos, and this is one of them. So anyway, check her out. She's great. Let's see if I can remember to put her link down below. So, you know, absolutely no judgment. First of all, no judgment on anybody for their choices right now, because I think everybody, you know, comes to where they need to be at their own time. And the fact that they're even watching this video, trying on a healthy journey, that just proves that they're on their journey. And so absolutely no judgment. I totally support anybody in their journey there. So, but anyway, my background in artificial sweeteners is kind of funny. Well, kind of funny, kind of not. But, you know, I never liked Sweet and Low. My parents loved Sweet and Low, and it's the saccharin sweetener, and always had a funky taste. I could not stand the aftertaste, and I don't know why I think they still like it. You know, it's just never set well with me. But I did get started on Equal from back in the 80s. And that was, I think, my first artificial sweetener that I really liked. And I went to a friend's house once, and she offered us, you know, growing up as a kid, my mom always made Kool-Aid. You know, of course, you have to add tons of sugar to the artificial color, and then, you know, we had the Kool-Aid stands and whatnot. We were the Kool-Aid house. Anyway, so I had missed that, and so my friend she offered me sugar-free Kool-Aid. This was back in 80, I don't even remember, maybe 80. 85, 86, I don't remember. But, and so I thought, wow, sugar-free Kool-Aid, this is great. And it was sweetened with Equal. And so it kind of got me hooked on that. And I drank it all the time, because I didn't drink water. I needed my water sweet, so I drank Equal. And I'm sorry, I drank Kool-Aid sweetened with Equal. And so I just thought it was so groundbreaking, you know, coming from Kool-Aid's background. And then we had our son, and when he was about 2.5 or so, he started noticing that we were drinking a lot of sugar-free Kool-Aid, and so he wanted some. So I started handing it to him, and he would drink that in his sippy cup a lot. And, you know, I didn't know any better, so I would give it to my kid. And so we just loved it. And then, of course, you know, after a artificial sweetener comes out, about within two years or so, you start hearing a little bit more research on it, you know, and so we ended up learning a little bit more about it. So I started hearing the warnings and things like that. It didn't really concern me very much because I really liked it, you know, and I used it on a lot of stuff because I thought, well, what else am I going to use? I'm not going to use sugar. I really was, and especially back then, I was even low carb, so it really wasn't an option for me to, you know, use sugar on my food. So then it's kind of funny, then we went along. I think I started hearing more and more of the drawbacks, and for me, some of the drawbacks to it were, of course, you know, the reading about the effect that it could have on your brain, you know, the increased risk of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and things like that. And that was scary to me, but it wasn't scarier when I was younger. I will admit, I think as I get older, that sort of thing is scarier to me because I guess maybe sicknesses that kind of strike you as you get older are closer to me now than they were then. So now the risk is a little more real to me. And so I think maybe that really keeps me away from it because of that. But two other reasons why, really, one of the reasons why I stopped Equal besides that was because I had, I guess one of the things that they always claim is that some artificial sweeteners, they'll say this is like 200 times plus sweeter than sugar. And to me, that didn't make a lot of sense because if I was trying to wean myself off of sugar, why was I having something that was like hundreds of times sweeter than sugar, then I thought that was definitely going to keep me from moving away from wanting sugar, because I would need something that was, so much more sweet than sugar. So, and then sugar didn't seem very sweet to me. It wasn't sweet enough because I was used to such an increase in the sweetness. And so that actually helped me to kind of wean off as well. And then the other thing that kind of helped me was, I guess I would read about the claim that having an artificial sweetener like that still can give you an insulin response. And I didn't want that. I mean, honestly, if I was going to have an insulin response, I think I'd rather it be from a real sugar. Maybe, if I was going to have to go through the insulin response and my body was going to try to peck on weight or send out, the signals to, whatever, I didn't want it to happen from something that wasn't substantial. And so, all of that together, then they came out with stevia, not stevia, they came out with Splenda. And so I got hooked on Splenda because I thought, oh, this is even better. But now there were the same things, the same concerns, though, that were with Equal also follow stevia. Splenda, which I didn't know back then, because of course it takes a little while for all of those claims to start coming out. And so I got hooked on Splenda, and then I started finding out a little bit more. That's when I started looking into a plant-based lifestyle, and then I found stevia. And so eventually I weaned off of the stuff that was, hundreds of times more sweet. Now stevia is still sweeter also than sugar, so, I have to be real careful. But I still will, I'll use some of that, but other than that, I'll use now I don't need things quite so sweet, so I drink a lot of water. And I will use stevia, or I'll use sugar. I'll just use cane sugar or none at all. So it took a long time to wean, to the point where I am now. And, I gave up sugar. I gave up soda years ago. And so now if I feel like having something carbonated, I have a really nice kombucha. And I have my favorites on that level. I think you need to shop around for which one speaks to you, the best. And I think reeds are probably the easiest to drink for people who are not used to kombucha. I won't make my own because I'm kind of afraid of you have to be real careful when you have live bacterias, because you don't want to make yourself sick. And so you have to be careful about that. But I have a really funny story about the artificial sweetener maltitol. And if you're familiar with maltitol, you know about the laxative effects that it has. And so, we were on a trip once, and this was years ago. This was between my Equal Splenda days. And we were on a trip, and there's a sugar-free bakery in town, and they use maltitol as one of their main sweeteners. And, I went through my sugar-free period where I'm like, oh, I can have cakes and pies and cookies and everything and all this chocolate because it has maltitol in it and it's sugar-free. So, I know better than that now because they're still not healthy. But so I thought that was splendid, and I bought a lot of stuff. We took a trip home to see, I call it home, but to see our parents once. And so we were on a trip, and I was at the bakery, and I picked up this little bag of maltitol sweeteners. You could actually scoop it into your cereal and your coffee, and I thought, wow, this is really great. And so I took it. So all weekend long, I was using it in my coffees and whatnot. And, of course, I was getting all these gurglings going on down in my gut, and all this started clenching, started happening. And I'm like, what in the world? What's happening? Well, then we were visiting, we were in the other city, and I went into Walmart, and I saw they had a box of sugar-free candy bars for sale. This was my low-carb time of life as well. So mostly. So I thought, wow, this is really great. So I bought it, and you know, all weekend long, my husband and I were, you know, just using the Molotov sweetener and starting to down those chocolate bars. We had a box of them, and we thought, oh, it's not going to affect our blood sugar. We might as well just eat the whole box and go to town. So we're eating these chocolate bars on our trip, and no joke, I will tell you, we passed laxative effect. I mean, we were like in gut clenching city, and we were on our trip home, and I kid you not, we had to stop like every half an hour, and we were in any kind of bathroom we could find. It was horrific. Anyway, so that was the Molotov sweetener, and ever since then, you know, we finally clicked because we were like, I don't know what's happening. Give me another candy bar. And you know, finally, when we got back, I did some reading on it, and turns out, yeah, we were doing that to ourselves, and I can't touch Molotov now, neither can my husband, and so that's definitely not the sweetener of choice anymore. So I just try to be a natural girl if at all possible, and use fruit. I don't use a lot of dates just because of the tooth damage. I really like to try to keep them clean now. And dates get really, you know, they get in there, they're just, you know, really sweet. And, but, you know, once in a while, they're okay, like in a raw dessert or something like that. But other than that, some raw cane sugar, you know, lots of water, and maybe a little stevia once in a while. So that's where I'm at. Anyway, that's my sugar-free history. What was yours? Anyway, I'd love to hear it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.